simple program set up. We're going to have opening statements by Vice Chancellor Champagne and new Nanooks head coach Largen here, and that'll be followed by a question and answer session. We'll make sure that we get to both folks in the room as well as folks on the telecom here. Until we get to that point, if the people on the phone could please mute your phones, that would be appreciated. So I think we're about ready to go. If you'd like to give your statements, thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank everybody for being here. Today, the University of Alaska Fairbanks is pleased to announce Erik Largen as head coach of the Alaska Nanooks men's ice hockey program. Erik has a long history with the hockey community in Fairbanks and the Alaska Nanook hockey program. He has decades of experience as a player and served the past 2 seasons as assistant coach for the program, earning a stellar reputation as a mentor and leader. I am confident Coach Largen is the right person to move Nanook hockey forward in a positive and successful manner. He's a winner on and off the ice, and he's a coach we can all believe in. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Champagne. And just, I guess, to clarify, so it is Largen before we get into that debate any longer. But I'd like to start out just by thanking Chancellor White and Vice Chancellor Champagne for selecting me as the head coach of the University of Alaska Nanooks hockey program. It's a great honor to have been chosen, and our staff will work hard every day to live up to the high standards that you've set before us. I'd be remiss not to thank all my recent mentors, so Coach West, Coach Ferguson, Coach Hauge, and Coach Profit for making me the best person and teacher I can be at this point in my life. I want to thank all the supporters of the program, the alumni, Face-Off Club, volunteers, and all those at UAF and our wonderful community who have given so much to our players and program. At this time, more than ever, we need to be unified in our support of the program, and your work is noticed and appreciated, and I thank you for your support going forward. Last but certainly not least, I'd like to thank you to my wonderfully patient and understanding better half, Anna. She has let me chase my dream and has been by my side through the ups and downs. She has withstood sacrifices which have allowed me to get to my dream job, this position as head coach in my hometown of Fairbanks. We're expecting our first child in another month, and we're so thrilled to spend our childhood in this great community. This community loves these Nanook hockey players like their family. It is truly a remarkable place. We face some questions all the time in recruiting to Alaska, the distance away from the player's hometown, the dark and the cold. But there's so much love and support in this community, and the people and town of Fairbanks make living here wonderful. Numerous alumni that have come to Alaska have become a part of the community and established families with deep roots. This is a place unlike any other. There's a reason people save up their whole life to come to Alaska. There's a reason why this place is where people plan on staying for just a few years and end up living up here for 40. My parents came up here with the same idea from Seattle 30 years ago, and I'm so grateful that they came, allowing me to grow up here and understand why Fairbanks is called the Golden Heart City. When you're part of this community, you don't want to leave. It's the people and its support. The university system as a whole has been through its ups and downs, but there's a commitment by the new administration to lead our programs to new heights. We are now fully funded, and there's a long-term commitment from the university for athletics. Alaska Nanooks hockey is not going anywhere. As for me, I will hold myself and all our players accountable to be the best we can be on and off the ice. I will set the bar high for them, myself, and the program. I have the utmost confidence in these players as individuals and as a team, and I'm ready to take this program forward. I won't give you a lot of buzzwords about our playing style for the upcoming season. What you need to know is that myself, our staff, and our players will embody the same passion this community has for hockey and our program. That's my promise to this town and the team, which I dreamed of playing for and now have the privilege of coaching for. So at this time, I'd love to open it up for questions.
First, Aaron Walling from Channel 13. What was the process like for you, from when they told you, hey, possibility, and then you getting the call that you're going to be the head coach?
Yeah, I mean, I guess at that time it was a little bit of shock and surprise. I think there's always a little bit of nervous energy that goes into it. I think for my side of things, I had to make sure that the program was going to be healthy. We were going to be fully funded, and we were going to be able to compete going forward in the changing landscape of college hockey. And when those things were met by administration, I felt like it was a great fit, and I was ready to take the position. It's a great honor.
Devin Fry for KTVF. Kind of what's this moment like for you right now? Hometown university, you're the new head coach of their biggest athletic program. What's this moment like for you?
It's exciting. I didn't think it would be like this, but you see the support of the people in the room, and you see family, and you see alumni, you see the players, you see people that have given so much to the program and all the hours, and there's a lot of emotions right now. I'm excited. I can't wait to be a part of this, and there's a lot of trust that's been put into me, and I take that with a great deal of responsibility. And I know Anna's prepared for a lot of hours and spending time in the office and going to work, and I probably rambling a little bit here, but I'm just excited about the opportunity.
Brad Joel with the Fairbanks Daily Newsmire. Eric, did you apply for the job originally, or did the opportunity just kind of arise during the hiring process?
Yeah, the opportunity just kind of arose during the hiring process. Obviously, with Lance being involved in the process, I wanted to see him go all the way through it. And Lance not being a part here, I learned a great deal from him, and it's a great friend, and wanted to make sure that he had all the opportunity to be able to take over the position, which I thought he did a really good job last year at. And it just kind of came up after that, and just maybe it wasn't the first choice, but it was the last choice, and I'll make sure that I make the most of it.
You talked about growing up here. Do you remember when you fell in love with Nanooks hockey?
Yeah, well, the first time you go in as a kid, 4 years old, you go to the rink, and my dad was out there reffing, and this is the place where I wanted to play. This is the place where I wanted to compete. It's a place where I wanted to get back to, and we wanted to get back to as a family. It means everything. This is what I grew up dreaming to be a part of. It's not a spot where it's a stepping stone for me. This is a destination job. It's a place where I want to be. This is a place where I want recruits to come up here and understand that I'm going to be a part of this for their 4 years.
I see some of the guys here. Have you been able to address the team at all yet?
One time so far, so I was kind of sworn to secrecy for a little bit, but I was able to talk to him this morning, and now we're just going through individual meetings and going through that one-on-one.
You got to play for the Nanooks, assistant coach for the Ice Dogs, assistant coach for the Nanooks, now you're the head coach for the Nanooks. What's it like to be, at the highest level for your hometown team, your hometown community?
Yeah, it's a great honor, and it's exciting, and it's what I want to do. And like I said before, it's a great responsibility because I see all the people in this room, and players, and the alumni, and the boosters, and everyone who's given so much time. There's a lot expected of this program. There's a lot expected of me, and there's a lot expected of our group, and we're going to make sure that we live up to that. We're going to have our work ethic and commitment, and we're going to make sure that we do right by the community.
What's your first move as head coach? Have you had any time to think about that yet?
Meet with the players. That's the biggest thing. Is working inside out. The most important thing is making sure that they're taken care of. They've been through this process too. They've had to deal with quite a bit. And honestly, I was talking to a couple of them already. The way that they handled it, they turned a negative into a positive. And I think they're already going forward in a great direction. I think there is a set of leadership skills that has been already developed through this. And I think it's brought the team closer together. And it wasn't the smoothest process. But I think going forward, we're going to be better off because of it.
You talked about some of the expectations. What do you feel like the ceiling for this program is, and what are some of the obstacles in your guys' way to get there?
There's always some challenges and things like that. In recruiting or whatnot, but every program has their challenges. I think for us, I think the expectations are to make sure that we capture the Governor's Cup and to get home ice next year. You see the run that Tech made winning the WCHA playoffs going on the road. I think it's difficult when you have to go on the road and do those types of things in the series, but I think our expectations to get home ice, and I think our expectations is to compete for a WCHA playoff championship and earn an NCAA tournament berth. I don't see why it's not possible for us and the group that's coming in.
You mentioned recruiting at this.
You're a play guy. Can you guys hear me?
Of course.
Yep, gotcha.
All right, 31 years old. You're going to be the youngest coach in Division I of the 60 teams. I believe the second youngest is Don Lucia was 29 back in 1987. Do you feel any pressures of that, being the youngest coach around?
No, not really. I mean, it wouldn't matter if I was 60 or 31. The pressures are still the same. Like, I got to make sure that we're taking care of our players, that we're pushing them to the highest standards. There's a lot of entrusted into me. So 31, 61, it doesn't really matter to me, Bruce. It's just a matter of the same type of responsibilities, and I got to make sure that I can live up to that.
Well, congratulations. We look forward to working with you for another great season of Nanook hockey.
Thanks, Checker.
You mentioned recruiting at this stage in the game for next season. Is it kind of too late to be doing that, or no, you can jump right into that?
Yeah, I think you got to jump right into it. I think this is it's one of those situations where it's kind of been on a pause button here over the last couple months, but we got to go through meetings with all the players, and I don't think we need a lot for next year, but there might be some people and pieces that we need to add, and you just got to hit the ground running. Recruiting never really stops, so we got to keep doing it. And in my role as assistant, it was recruiting, and head coach, I feel like it's a big responsibility too. I mean, recruiting is the lifeblood of the program, and you got to make sure that you're getting the best players possible.
Vice Chancellor Champagne, Coach Largen touched on this a little bit in regards to the university's commitment to the program. Nationally speaking, there's been some concerns about the long-term viability going forward. Can you elaborate on that commitment and what that looks like going forward?
Well, one thing I can say is when Chancellor White entrusted me with overseeing the UAF athletic program, he told me to look at the program, evaluate the program, determine what we need to do to professionalize and create a 21st century and collegiate athletic program, and that's what I'm going to try to do. And as you guys know, in a community of this size, it takes not only the athletic department, but it takes the boosters, the community, and everybody else to chip in to support a program such as our athletic program. We're not a program where we bring in a whole lot of money coming in, but we're hoping to change that. And with Erik, the future of our program and the cornerstone of this foundation we're trying to build with this modern program, we're hoping everybody will get on board and to support us in every manner they can in terms of community engagement, in terms of filling up the Carson Center and making sure we all are there. So that's what we're trying to do. Take it one step at a time and look at what do we need to do to build a program that's built to last. And you start off by hiring the right people for the job, the right people for the institution, for the students, the program, the community. And I'm really excited about Erik. And one thing, this is Erik's day, so I want to focus on that. But I will say, for those of you who know Erik, I've just recently got to know him, but one thing I will say is, throughout my conversations with Erik, he's been concerned about everybody but himself first. What about my players? What about this person? What about that person? Can I do this for somebody else? He never once said, what can I do for myself? He said, what can I do for my players, for my coaches, for my program, for my institution, and for my hockey community? And that says a lot about a person. So for me, he's a human being first, and a great human being. And I'm hoping that we all get on board and support him. There's that African proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village, a community, a state to support an athletic program. So we need everybody on board to help us, because we made a commitment to Erik. But I've also been taught that to whom much is given, much is expected. And so we will need to have support of everybody in this room and those who are not in this room to build a great program. And I want to leave you, this is not my date, but I want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes. I'm a big Muhammad Ali fan, and I share this in every athletic setting I go into. And Muhammad Ali once said, champions aren't made in the gyms. Champions are made from something they have deep inside of them, a desire, a dream, and a vision. And us moving forward with this modern program, it's a vision, but more importantly, it's a dream that we hope to fulfill. And we may have some bumps along the way, but as long as I'm here and Chancellor White is my boss, I'm going to be a supporter of Nanook athletics.
Erik, sorry.
Go ahead.
Erik, how does it kind of feel to have that level of support behind you there? Because that's a very glowing statement from the Vice Chancellor. What's it kind of feel like to have that kind of support from the university?
Oh, it's big. I mean, it's it means a lot that they think that highly of, I guess, what I can do and give back to the program. So that means a lot to me individually. And then, I mean, the bigger thing is just the support as a program. I mean, over the last couple of years, there's been some doubts, and we hear it a lot on the recruiting trail. And I just think for people to know that Alaska hockey is here, it's here to stay. We're going to be fine. We're going to be better than ever. I just think that's an important message right now for the people to hear, and people in this room, as well as people out there on the road as well.
Vice Chancellor Champagne, he alluded to what the process was like for him and how he was pulling for Lance West. Can you tell us about the process from the search committee's standpoint? Obviously you presented 2 finalists to the public, and someone else is here today.
Well, listen, I want to continue to focus on Erik, but the process ran its course. And one thing, the way I work with athletic search process and all search processes, I look at them as an advisory search process with the leadership retaining the right to do what's in the best interest of the program. And after the search had run its course, to the extent it ran, I had to make a decision about what's in the best interest of this program, our student athletes, this great, fantastic hockey community. And another thing I like to do in terms of making athletic decisions, we want to make generational decisions. For example, how is the decision we make today going to impact the next generation of athletic administrators, coaches, and student athletes? So the decision you make today, you have to look down the road and make sure you're making the right decision for those who's going to come behind us. So when you put those decisions in place and you do something systemically, institutionally, then you can look forward to good things in the future.
Do you have any regrets of how the process went?
No, I don't have any regrets how the process went, because performance is best measured in the long run. And if I look at who's sitting next to me, I fundamentally believe that it's the right decision for this community, for this institution, and for everybody who wants to come to the University of Alaska Fairbanks to play hockey here.
Erik, have you made any decisions or thought about assistant coaches at all?
Yeah, I think we're just going through the process. I mean, Lincoln and I have talked a little bit just about him staying on staff, and then after that, looking at different people that I know out throughout the hockey world, and we have some alumni that have been in the coaching ranks, and look at them, and there's also people that have recruited up here and done a good job before. So I think there's a good pool of candidates, and I think there's a commitment now, to make sure that we're supporting our staff as a whole, and I think we're going to find very quality people and quality candidates for the job.
How has the program changed from when you were a player to this current era of Nanooks hockey?
Yeah, I mean, I think the support still is the same from the community. I think that there's a lot of similarities from it. I think we dress in a nicer locker room at Carlson Center now, but honestly, it's the people, the community, and people haven't changed. Like, people love Nanooks hockey, and the programs, different coaches, it's gone through ups and downs, funding, this and that, but at the end of the day, like, people love hockey here, and they love our players, they love our student athletes, and I think they're committed to it, and they were committed to it when I was a player, and they're committed to it now.
You had the head coaching experience at Marion. What can you kind of take away from that year and apply it to this experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're managing people. I think you're the one who's making final decisions on things and trying to create the best culture that you can. And so you take some of those experiences, but this is a whole different level. It's a whole new group of people, and you got to learn what you learned from Dallas, learn from Lance, and try to implement some different things that learned over the last couple of years as well. So it's a different situation, but there are some similarities that you can draw from the previous head coaching experience.
And lastly, for me, have you talked to either of those guys? I know I talked to Lance this morning. He was really happy for you.
Yeah, no, I've talked to both of them. I talked to them quite a bit. So I mean, those are strong friendships, and this job isn't going to change that one bit. So.